Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Quarantine or Nicole, and I'm so happy you're here. As you can tell by the title of this video, this is an Art Goals 2021 video. The audio for this might be a little bit all over the place. I am recording directly off of my iPad because I don't have a computer that I can use to edit and also record. It's easier for me to do it on my iPad. It might sound a little rough, but I think that we can all be adults and survive with just a little bit of imperfection here. This is the second time that I filmed this, or what you're seeing is like the second time that I filmed this sketch with me, doodle with me. I don't really know what I'm calling it yet on video. The first time I didn't hit record, so whatever. You'll be watching me sketch / study body poses. And so that's what's going on there. But vocally, over this voiceover, I'm going to be talking about my art goals this year. Tomorrow is the 24th, which is my birthday. And so I think it'd be really cool to do one of these videos once a year, like the night before my birthday. Because I feel like birthdays are a very reflective time for everyone. Especially me, because my birthday is in January and it's the start of a new year and a new age. But yeah, let's just get into this. So for those who don't know, if you follow me on Instagram, or if you have been following me on Instagram for a while, you know that I'm doing this like art challenge. And so I'm drawing every day for 365 days, and I'm almost halfway done with that challenge. I should be done maybe summer of this year. But the reason why I started that challenge was because prior to the pandemic, I hadn't drawn anything in about a decade. For some reason, after high school, or not before high school, actually, I just stopped drawing. And I think I know what it is. I think that I just didn't know that it was a hobby that could be transferred into a career. I never stopped to think about who drew the comics and the animes and the mangas and the cartoons that I watched. Like, I never thought about it. I didn't know. Yeah, I guess it's not like I didn't know. I just didn't think about it. I thought that art and drawing was a thing for kids. And my parents saw me doing it a lot, but they never really pushed me to pursue it. Mostly because, I am a first generation American. My parents were immigrants. For them, it was all about science and math and technology and nothing else. And so I pursued science, and I just kind of discarded everything that I loved. And so about 2 years ago, I was dating this kid, and we were talking about things that we loved as a child, like as children, like hobbies and stuff. And I had mentioned that what I used to love to do was to draw. It used to bring me so much happiness. I would do it all the time, all weekend long, after school. And he was like, "Oh, you should do that again." And then I was like, maybe I will. And so I went to Michael's and I grabbed a pencil and a pen and, an eraser and all these like stationery items. And I sat down with this watercolor sketchbook, even though I didn't have any watercolors. And I tried to draw, and it was horrible, and I was so disheartened. And I just convinced myself that I had lost my touch. I was like, well, I could draw when I was a kid, but now I'm, in my early 20s, and it's horrible. And so 2 years later, now we're in a global pandemic. And, the first month, I was like, this is so cool. I love it. I'm watching Netflix. I'm vibing. And then after a month, I'm like, okay, now I'm really like sad. I have nothing to do. I'm so bored. And I'm the type of person that needs to be productive. Like, I need to be busy. And my job, I still have it currently, but it's work from home, and the work is very light. And so I looked around for things to do, and I tried to play The Sims, and I didn't really love that. And I read all these books, but then I got bored of reading. And then I thought, why don't I draw? And so I found my sketchbook that was like somewhere under my bed, and I just started drawing. I think the very first thing I ever drew was like Bakugo, because I was watching My Hero Academia at the time, for the first time actually. And for some reason, I don't know, like the first time I drew 2 years ago, I didn't feel anything. But this time when I drew, you know what it was? I think the first time that I drew, I was also trying to impress the guy that I was dating. So I wanted to be like, look at this really cool thing that I drew. Like, I'm so hot, right? And it wasn't anything. But when I drew like a couple months ago, last March, I was just drawing for myself. And I loved it. Like, it just, I don't know, that feeling that I got when I used to draw as a kid, it just came back. And maybe it's because I was watching anime again and like I'm at home all day, like I was when I was a kid. And, everyone's talking about like feeding their inner child. And, yeah. And so I just want to ride this wave for as long as I can. And this is the first thing that I've ever done that I really feel like I can stick to. Like, I'm still in my 20s, but I've had like 4 to 5 corporate jobs because every single job I've had, I just can't stick to it. Like, I get so bored after a year, or I just lose interest, or it's not what I want to do. But with art, I feel at home. Like, I feel like I could do this for a very long time. And I love it. I love studying it. I love looking at, I don't know. I'm like getting flustered, but I really do love it. And so that was a really long intro, but this is what I want to do with art. And this is how I want to ride that wave of excitement that it brings to me. And I hope you guys will, stick with me on this journey. And I hope that if anything, these videos will, my voice just cracked. Did you hear that? If anything, these videos will serve as a time capsule for myself. But if it motivates you, if you just, I don't know, like whatever you want to do with this is fine. Who cares? There's makeup on my shirt in this video, which is like so on brand. I don't know why I couldn't wear a clean shirt or sweater for this video. It's whatever. My nails are fucked up. My makeup on my shirt. It's cool. We're just gonna get into my art goals for the year. And so my first art goal that I have here is that I want to start drawing things without references. I just started doing that this year, like maybe every other day. I try to think of poses and, just poses that, from my imagination. And some days are easier than others. A lot of the days my imagination is empty. Like I have nothing going on in my head. But right now my art heavily is influenced by references. And I don't want to ever remove references from, my workflow. I think that's kind of stupid. Not stupid. Let me not say that. I just don't think I'm there yet. And I don't think I'll be there for like a while. But I do want to start like using that part of my brain and start, working that muscle so that eventually I will get to the point where I don't need to use a reference for every single pose that I draw. My next thing that I have is that I want to learn how to use gouache and watercolor. Right now it looks like, or whenever I use gouache and watercolor, it looks very elementary. It looks like a 5-year-old off the street is playing in some palettes. And so I have a couple artists that I really admire. And those are the artists that hopefully I can somewhat mimic their flows. I don't know. I'm going to have a couple more videos, I think, of me like testing out gouache, especially because I do not get it. Like I feel so silly every time I use it. Gouache doesn't make any sense to me. And so hopefully, this year I can work on that and become a lot better at it. This kind of ties into the first one that I mentioned, but I want to get better at perspective and dynamic movements. I love looking at artists who can, show their characters from all these cool action shots and all these different angles. And, I think it brings so much life into these characters and so much energy. And that's what I want. Like, I want someone, if anything, to look at my art and be like, wow, like I can feel what this character is going through. I think that's like such a powerful skill that people have. It's so hard to like breathe life into characters that are on paper. And so I think that working on perspective and dynamic movements will really help me in that area. I also do want to get into using more shape language and kind of drawing not so much abstract characters. Like there are some people who use really cool shapes for characters and you know, that looks dope. Like, you know, when the character looks a bit more square and they're like the solid guy, and then the character's more triangular and they're like the villain. Like, I think that's really cool storytelling. And I don't know if I want to go all the way in that direction before my characters start looking like roly-poly-oly. But I think that getting a better understanding as to how shapes are used to design characters would be helpful for the story that I want to create, which is another goal that we'll get to. My next goal here is to finish an art book. And so right now I have an obsession with collecting all the art books that could ever be bought. And I will be obsessed with a book for about a day or two or three. And then I'll just put it somewhere in my apartment and I'll never open it ever again. And this year I want to finish at least one of the art books that I have. And all of them they're all so good. So it's definitely a me thing and not like the book. It's me. It's me just getting so excited and then being like, on to the next book. And I do want to fight against that tendency that I have this year and like intentionally finish an art book. So I have that I want my traditional style to resemble my digital art style and vice versa. I think that right now I'm like roaming in two different directions with both my sketchbook, you know, work and then like the work that I create on my iPad. Like the work that I do in my sketchbook is a lot more loose and sometimes they do have a bit more energy, and then my iPad work is cleaner, and I do like my iPad stuff a lot. I think I take that a bit more seriously. But if I can merge the two styles together or find like a happy medium, that would be cool, because I do want to start posting the work. You know, if I ever do like polished work on paper, I do want to be able to post that, and I want people to be able to look at that and recognize that like I drew it. You know, like, oh, Nicole with quarantine drew that. So my other goal is that I do want to purchase a big girl drawing tablet. Currently I am using my iPad, and it's not the big one, it's like the medium sized one that was cheaper. And because I don't have a monitor or a computer or anything, I split screen my like Pinterest boards and my Procreate app, and it gives me even less space to create on. So having another tablet would be awesome, because I could use my iPad for, you know, things to go or to sketch, or even as like the Pinterest board itself, and then having a separate like big girl iPad or tablet to actually create on. And my one friend bought me Clip Studio Paint for my birthday, which is amazing. However, when I try to use it on my iPad, I just feel like it looks too clunky. And so I need a bigger screen or display screen. So I want to save up for like an actual tablet, or if anyone wants to send me a tablet, you can sponsor me. That's great. But I do want to kind of go big or go home with a tablet, because I do have an iPad that gets the job done. That if I am getting another drawing tablet, it has to be better than the iPad. And I think the iPad's great. Like, don't get me wrong. It's just I need a bigger screen sometimes. One of my goals is that I want to release a webcomic on Webtoon. I love Webtoon. That's something else that I discovered during the pandemic. I did not know it existed beforehand. Can you believe it? And now I'm always on it. One of my favorites. I loved Siren's Lament, the mermaid one. I love my cold-blooded prince. Is that what it's called? I love that one. I loved Midnight of Poppyland. I still read it. It's on hiatus, but I love that one so much. Sub-Zero. Edith is really cool. I'm just talking about all my favorite webtoons now. I love the romance ones. I love Lore Olympus, obviously. True Beauty. I'm kind of getting bored with True Beauty, I won't lie. Just because I feel like nothing's ever happening. Like the main character never really, I don't know. Like, I don't want to bash another artist that's doing something that I can't even imagine doing. So, never mind. But True Beauty, like, I still read it every week. And I also love the one with the aliens, the alien girl. That's like Starfire. What's it called? So anyway, so I want to create in 2 years, I want to create a webtoon. And so right now I am dedicating this first year to writing out the plot. I have an idea as to what I want my character, I have an idea as to what the plot is, like the overarching like big themes, but like how we get characters from point A to point B, I don't know, and then point B to point C, I don't know, and I actually don't know what the ending is. So maybe I don't have a lot, but I have an idea, and so I just want to write something about the story every single day, so it's always in my mind and that I'm always thinking about it, so that whenever I do get a touch of inspiration, I can like incorporate it into my story. And so I'm working on that this year. And I'm also working on getting like my OCs not finalized, because I think that my OCs will grow as I grow, and the design will change as I like, get better at designing. But I do want to like finalize some elements about these characters, or if not elements, then I at least like personalities would be really cool. And then let's see. I do want to move closer to becoming 100% like a freelance illustrator slash like 100% a content creator. I love doing this. I love creating YouTube, and I love like interacting with people on Instagram and Twitter, and I just love it. I love consuming it too. I've been a consumer of YouTube for years, and Instagram for not as long, but YouTube since YouTube launched. Like, I'm talking back in the days with like Smosh. Like, I was like a huge YouTube fan. I have been for a very long time. And so I would love to grow this. I feel like I would love to grow YouTube the most, just because I'm always on it. But I think that like my core audience and like the people that I really love engaging with the most are on Instagram. Why am I talking about that? What? Anyway, this goal is about becoming a content creator slash a freelance illustrator. I do want to be able to quit my job. It would be amazing if I can quit my 9 to 5 by the end of this year. That's a really, really, really like far reach goal. So I'm going to take a step back. If I can make half amount of the money that I make at my 9 to 5 through art, then I will be very, very happy. That's also kind of intense to say. Actually, it's completely insane to say, but I believe in manifesting and the law of attraction. And so I think that if you can think it, you could possibly do it, maybe. And so that's something that is a goal of mine. It's a stretch goal, but if I can do it, then maybe I can go part-time, like outside of art stuff, and then have more time to create art. Because I know that as the vaccines are coming around, like it looks like they're gonna have us back into the office by sometime this year, and a lot of my time will be gone for creating, and that's like really depressing for me to think about it. I might get a little emotional. And my job is like, although it's like a very techie job, they're like very old fashioned, and they for sure aren't one of those companies like Facebook or Google that is like allowing their employees to work from home if they want to. They will honestly have me back in my cubicle for 8 hours a day, even though we have confirmed that we do not need to be sitting at desks for 40 hours a week. Like, it's not necessary. It never has been, at least like since the dawn of the internet. Like, we don't need to do that, whatever. I'm gonna start ranting about how stupid corporate jobs are and making us work in an office all day. But yeah, so if I could do less of that, that would be great. And if I could, start earning some money off of the art that I create and the content that I put out, that would be even better. But so I guess now that we're talking about like money and stuff and like business stuff, I think that I should transition over to like the business side of things and like my business art goals that I have. Whether or not we'd like to talk about it, if you want to be financially independent, you have to like consider these things. And so I'm gonna start talking about numbers and like what numbers I hope to reach and achieve by the end of this year, even though I want to be clear that numbers do not indicate how good or bad of an artist you are. Like, no matter, like, subscribers and followers, like, I've seen artists that have like 5 followers on Instagram and they're fucking phenomenal. And then I've seen artists who have like 300K, and I go on their page and I'm like, huh, that's not for me. This isn't my thing. What? So, like, I think that your numbers reflect your capability to market yourself on the internet, but I don't think it really indicates how good you are with art, you know? Like, I don't know. I just feel like, I mean, obviously if you're really good at art, it's an easier way to market yourself, but like, we all can think of a couple artists whose arts skill, or not art skill, but art style is very simple, yet they have so much success on Instagram and on YouTube and other platforms, and you're like, huh, that's strange, because I could do that. And I'm not saying you couldn't do that, but what I am saying is that, like, that person knows how to market themselves, and they found an audience, and they found a market that works for them. And so I think this year I really want to see if I can find the right market, quote unquote, or the right audience for me. And hopefully it's like the people who are watching this video. So here are my numbers. So by the end of this year, I do want to reach at least 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And once I hit like 500 subscribers, I will actually start, investing in equipment for YouTube, like a proper camera and like a mic, and maybe I'll get like a laptop, the basics. And so, yeah, once I hit like 500, then maybe I'll do that. No, I will. I won't say maybe. I will do that. But by the end of this year, I would love to hit like 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and then have at least one brand sponsorship. It could be a brand sponsor for water, or a water bottle, whatever. Or ideally, I could be one of those people that get a Skillshare one. If I ever get a Skillshare sponsorship or a Squarespace one, just know I'm squealing on the inside. The minute that I got that email, I was freaking the fuck out. And I do want to be transparent and say that when I've had this YouTube page for a while, and so it's been many things. And so when I transformed it to an art page, I already was at 200. So right now I think that I'm just shy of 400 followers or subscribers on YouTube. But by the end of the year, I hope that we hit 1,000. And then Instagram, by the end of the year, 5K would be great. 10K would be ideal, but I'm not crazy. I know the algorithm is not our friend right now. But 5K on Instagram would be awesome. And then TikTok, I think by the end of the year, I should be able to hit 10K, just because the algorithm on TikTok goes crazy. You could hit, like, I think I posted like, I gained 2,000 followers from one video on TikTok. So I think 10K on TikTok is reasonable. And then Twitter, I don't really care too much about, but 10K on Twitter, I think it's also very possible. And yeah, those are the numbers that I have for social media. So I would love to also start working on commissions and take 4 to 5 commissions per month, and then maybe 2 charity commissions or commissions I do for free. That would be really cool. I do want to open up a shop by the end of the year and sell prints and stickers and all those really cute stuff that people do. I think I love buying them. I have so much work from other artists in my apartment. And so it'd be cool to see my stuff in other people's places. I do want to start working on a Patreon. That probably won't happen until maybe early next year. It seems like it's a lot of work, and if I do a Patreon, I don't want to do a lame one. So I do want to like post tutorials and behind the scenes and all that really cool stuff that people do on Patreon. So that would be great. And I think that's it. Yeah, the numbers were a little all over the place, but generally if I can hit 10K on every single platform that I have on the internet, I will be very happy. And I'll be one step closer to my goal of having the reach that I need to be able to, be financially stable and be able to quit my 9-to-5. Yeah, so thanks so much for watching this video and listening to me rant while I doodle away. It's really exciting. It's a really exciting year, despite the craziness of the world. I'm excited for art for the first time in a long time, and for the first time in a long time, I'm excited about my future. Not to be all emo, but I just couldn't see what direction I was going in, and now I can see something that seems reasonable and seems like it's something that would bring me joy and others joy, and I could have maybe a small impact on the world, even if like the webcomic that I release in 2 years, like 5 people read it. Like that's I don't whatever, that's cool. um yeah, I don't know. It's really cool, and I love the community that we're building on Instagram, especially, and hopefully it'll grow on YouTube. And I love seeing other people's art journeys that are like growing, in parallel with mine. And I don't know. It's really cool. And like I said, there's so much darkness and heaviness, right now. But I feel really warm inside and I don't know, positive. This is so corny. I'm done. Ew. So just make sure you subscribe. Leave a like on this video if you liked it. Leave a like even if you didn't like it. If you want to see what I'm doing every single day, you can follow me on Instagram. The information will be in the bio below. But until then, YouTube, I will see you guys in the next one. I'm just gonna let this video play out until the very end. But keep creating, and I will see you later. Bye.